Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones Papa Pafia. Franco is giving you opportunity to buy something of quality for yourself. And if you need any home appliance, the best place you can get it is Franco Trading Enterprise. We've got phones, we've got TV set for you, we've got CCTV cameras, we've got also microwave, and we have air conditioned refrigerators. You can buy all of them when you go to Franco Trading Enterprise. And you can find our branches over here in the country. Now, give us a call. Call the numbers you see on your screens and do business with us. Please do not pick any number on social media. Always call the numbers that you have on your screens. Better yet, you can download the app. It's the Franco Trading app on Google Play Store, and you're good to go. The website is www.francotrading.com, and you've got Franco Trading in your hands. And that's what you need to do right now. Affordable, but of quality, and that's what we're giving you. It's Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, phones, Papa Pafia. Don't forget, Newsflash is proudly brought to you by francotrading.com, and we're just definitely going to be getting into the newspapers this morning to find out what has been reported. The big issue we're talking about today is the elections tomorrow. The EC is having a rerun of the Ablekumanov elections. Now, the constituents have been speaking. The NDC is very much prepared, and they believe they're going to win this election. The NPP says that they are not ready for this because they don't believe that the EC is doing the right thing. Now, there was an injunction to hold the entire process, and yesterday that was also dismissed. We're going to be looking at that conversation also here on the show as well. You can send your thought and let us know what you think. So, is it going to happen? Or it's not going to happen tomorrow? Your guess is as good as mine. But as far as the court is concerned, or the EC is concerned, it's definitely going to be happening tomorrow. Now, Global Info Analytics has also released reports on the elections tomorrow. And they're saying that, well, there's going to be voting apathy, and most likely the NDC will be winning these elections tomorrow. That's also another conversation we'll be looking at here on the show this morning. But you can join us and share your thought with us on our WhatsApp line. Is active. You can go on Facebook. We're streaming live as well. You can also send your thought in real time, and I'm going to be reading them a bit later here on the show. My guest will be joining me this morning as well. As always, lawyer is already in here, so probably I say good morning to him. Lawyer Kwame Jantwa is here with me. He's a senior member of the CPP, and I hope you're doing very well this morning.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, and thanks for making time for us this morning. As always, we appreciate you. Great. Now, the front page of the various newspapers this morning, I'll pick up a daily graphic, and I'm sure most of you may have read the reports on the president's nomination of the last batch of the deputy ministers. And yesterday, we had 4 of them. And it says Trade Ministry also holds a national dialogue on first agribusiness policy. Report illegal gold dealers for reward. President Mahama at inauguration of Gold Board Tax Force. Yesterday, we had that conversation. Government releases 4 billion Ghana cedis to pay road contractors. And that's also reported. Page 13 has got the story on the front page of Daily Graphic. President commiserates with the U.S. government on Texas flooding and the natural gas supply to increase Sunday, measure to stabilize power sector, says John Chinapol, the energy minister. And that's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. This one on the back page, it says veterinary services receive lab equipment to boost animal health, and Volta region set to host a trade and investment fair. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. And for those of you who probably missed out on this conversation yesterday, and I don't know, I'm sure maybe Lawyer Kwame Jantwa would have a few words to say on that. The Gold Board inauguration of the tax force, I don't know what you make of it. Gold Board's tax force was inaugurated yesterday, and the president says that 10% incentive for those who come and snitch goods on people who are selling illegal gold illegally. I don't know what you make of it. You think that is good?
Good morning to our viewers. 10% would go to
whistleblowers.
Whistleblowers.
That's how they put it. But I'm thinking it's a snitching job.
Why? The people will be reporting people left, right, center. It is not in. They need to be able to police it properly. And they need to be able, when somebody comes to snitch, they've got to investigate it properly. Otherwise,
that's what
a lot of people will be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, 10%? We should be able to do this freely, shouldn't we? Do we need to have incentives?
Well,
we should be able to do it freely for love of country, shouldn't we?
Right, at this time.
But you see, for me, one thing that this does, it makes this money thing,
which we're trying to run away from,
become more instituted.
Yeah.
And people will be snitching left, right, center. You have an altercation with somebody over gold, they go and snitch. Oh, this person is doing what?
Out of the anger.
Out of the anger.
Because
exactly.
Do the right thing.
So that's where my challenge is. I would rather a situation where anybody who snitches and it is found to be true, that money will be invested in some kind of business for you to also build yourself up.
Instead of handing it directly to you.
Or some capacity building, or something that would help your community, so that, they would know that, well, from what you did, the community is also benefiting from that. Instead of, money, because it can create a lot of challenges, especially our folk in the rural areas, where they're even doing this gold thing. They can threaten you. And it could be far from that.
The intended purpose.
Exactly. So it's a good idea to try and do what? Reward people, but should that reward be money? I think that reward should be something that will build the capacity of the individual.
Okay, all right, so that's on the gold board issue, and well, natural gas supply to...
But the president, did he give a reason why he... Because when he was talking, I heard him say, and this is the good bit, this is the good bit.
Yeah, because he thinks that, every ordinary person...
Have we gotten to that stage in terms of our thought process and our ability to see that, this is a good gesture, and that we won't use it for negativity? If we've got to that stage, then fine. But if we haven't, it can create problems, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and that's what we're trying to run away from.
A good gesture, but if we don't police it properly, it can create problems.
Prof has also joined us this morning. Professor Michael Ayamga is here with us this morning as well. He's acting Deputy CEO of Environmental Protection Authority, but I'm sure that this morning he's very well. Prof, you good?
Yeah, KMG, all is well. Just left jurisdiction for a little on duty. I'm back.
Oh, it's good to have you back.
You're looking nice yourself this morning.
Thank you. We're happy that you're back.
I missed senior lawyer coming Jantua last week, and happy to come a little.
You missed the trouble, sir.
Yes, I'm happy to come a little late so that they don't get to take me to start the show.
Brother himself.
So he will wait. Even if he can wait in the car park.
Anyway, we're just looking at the front page of the Daily Graphic. I don't know what you make of this is also in your jurisdiction, by the way. The president is promising the 10% for those who would be in the position to, whistleblowers. I'm just trying hard to run away from the snitching thing that we are probably looking at the way this whole thing is getting into. Do you think that it's a good call for people to just come and say, okay, I want to give information to people who are selling gold illegally, so they can also get rewarded by that? The opinion believes that we've gone past that stage. We can willingly, do this without necessarily. We're looking at who is giving me 10% or who is not giving me 10% as a people.
You see, I have always disagreed with the senior lawyer here. In most cases, on this case, I want to break a little, because everywhere, whistleblowing, informants, and other forms of covert arrangements are part of law enforcement. And especially where you are dealing with gold, there are some of the people that have biggest financial muscles and networks that if you don't take time, our law enforcement and security agencies can't keep them under check. And what the president said is nothing new. It is even the model of some of the most successful countries that are not overly policed, where you see police security everywhere, but they believe in intelligence, and this intelligence is sometimes citizen-driven, that people volunteer information to ensure that people engaged in corrupt practices and also racketeering to some degree are held accountable. And trying to incentivize people who do that is also nothing new. In other places, they go beyond that to creating witness protection programs and all those things. So I don't think it is a bad thing to do. I would rather say it is a little late, and we should have started this long ago. I get those pieces of information every day in my new line of work from where I sit, and I realize that if we have actually created a system that allows us to provide incentives for people to do this, our galamsey problem would have been much easier to handle. If we had provided systems not only to give incentives but to protect the safety and security of people who volunteer information, our fight against official corruption and any form of criminal activities in our society would have been curtailed to a large degree.
But do we have the capacity to protect these people you're talking about? Looking at our security agencies right now, and how we've not been able to even deal with the menace itself, you can now protect other people who are volunteering? We
may not be up there, but the danger is that, of course, if somebody comes to volunteer information to me and I'm part of the ring, I could then go and, of course, compromise that position. Yeah. That has always been a danger anywhere, anytime. Then it boils down to the ability of the system to engage the right people to do the work. You can never remove that danger completely. I agree perfectly on this one with Kwame Jantua that, yes, it can be abused. But I believe that with the right people and with the citizen alertness and maybe education, we should be able to protect these people when they come to volunteer information for us. I think that we also have to, as a nation, institutionalize this. It shouldn't just be the president saying it and we wait. I now have to go back to my institution and say, okay, what systems am I supposed to put in place to protect people who provide information, such that they are able to do it and we don't know? Look at what the oral preparatory team did. Up till today, you can't put your finger on who gave information, who did that. If you look at most of the cases that are in court today, particularly that of Dubois, you would notice that it started also from a tip of somebody gave some information here and there. You can't put your finger on that thing. So it is possible for us to create a system to protect them. Are we going to be intentional, be deliberate, to provide resources in our various institutions to create these systems to protect people who provide information, and for the incentive system to be untraceable? So that if you give information, you are providing a 10% to somebody, that shouldn't create a trail that people will use to track the people. And that is where...
But unfortunately, that has been mentioned already, and it puts the person at risk right now. Because whether you like it or not, as far as I know that I've been snitched on, I would also know that if it was A who did it, then it means A has collected the money. Because it's already in the public domain.
You see, I would like a situation... Doc, I'm not sure whether you've done... I would like a situation where after the president indicated this, the Minister of Interior will now take it up and look at what has been the history of whistleblowing. What have been some of the things that have made it difficult to substantiate it and make it better? Well, how have the police acted where whistleblowers have come in to report? So that we have some kind of idea and comprehensiveness to put it right. When we are now moving it into what the president said, we have the data to be able to make it right. If people snitch, if people whistleblow, and communities, what do you call it, attack them, what are the things that we can do to make sure that those who do that are also face the law. Because sometimes nothing happens. Look at what we do when we catch a thief in the community. What do? Put a rubber tie around them and burn them up. Sometimes what happens? Nothing. Because the people who do it, do what? They run into the bush and nobody in the community is prepared to give them up. So if that is what we want to do, let's put the structure right. Because I would have even believed that where Galamsey is concerned, if we had that structure right, they would snitch, won't they? They would come and tell, oh, there's Galamsey, there's Galamsey. But it hasn't happened. So mine is not the politicians. Mine is the people. So you see that I'm doing some gold wuru-wuru. And you know that gold wuru-wuru, when I look at the government's 10% and I can get more on the gold wuru-wuru, would I not try and do something there to get more? So the structure has to be put right for people to know why ABCDE should be done. Maybe if that is done, then it makes it easier to now say that, oh, KMG reported this here. KMG reported this here. But our system is not up to that standard yet. In other countries, you know, you would gladly go and whistleblow. I'll give you an example. When I went to London in the 70s, fair freshman, got there. I was going to live in my uncle's house. When I got there, my cousins went in. So I stood outside knocking. There was an old lady next door. The next thing I saw, a police car was standing in front of the house.
The old lady has gone to the
she called the police. Said there's some black man standing here. And she knows her next door neighbors are black. So I was standing there when the police car came. Fresh boy from Ghana. Didn't know anything about police. They questioned me, young man, what are you doing here? So I told them, where's your passport? That was the first thing they asked me, where's your passport? I gave it to them. And they said, okay, so who are the people in the house? What are they to you? I said, they're my cousins. They did a check and realized who was in the house. And so they then went next door to tell the lady that, oh, I'm a cousin to the people next door. Then the lady now invited me in and gave me a cup of tea.
I see.
So you see that system. It works. It works.
And she doesn't really care about whether
she doesn't really care. Exactly. She doesn't really care.
She's protected somebody.
So if we want to do it, it will be a starting point, a stepping stone to now move into other areas, especially corruption within our institutions. That I'm working at the Ministry of Energy. Somebody is doing some wuru business there. I should feel free and have the wherewithal to report the person and not feel anything and not even want, incentives. Because you see, it is not only the politician who is responsible to build the nation. It is more the people who can build the nation to a certain point. And as we die and others take over, the others who now take over learn from us, and gradually the system becomes better. So just throwing it up in the air that, oh, ABCD is what's going to happen, really sometimes it doesn't help. We need to get the structure and the system right.
Very well, thank you. Let me move on and do the Chronicle. It says bailiff jailed 4 years for forging judge's signature. And how
read that again. What?
For the judge's signature.
A bailiff.
This is Ghana. How did I do the man?
No whistleblower there. No whistleblower. Hey.
People are doing things so. How I did the ritual killing was plotted and executed. There's so much killing. And these are young people, just very young people, just killing each other almost every day.
You know why? I think what we show on a silver screen also aids this type of thing.
Yeah.
We need to sanitize our silver screen. The Broadcasting Act, where is it? It's still in Parliament, isn't it? And people learn from these things. Social media, people feel it's right. In the UK, they don't use guns anymore. Knives. And even here, sometimes they use knives. So it's something that we really need to look at. Minister of Interior has a lot of work to do.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Let me just put it somewhere and move on. Daily Democrat says the ENP defends $100 million Azuma mine deal and the Baba Yara Sports Stadium set for major government overhaul. Akua South MP signs MOU with UK universities to expand educational opportunities and Mahama champions share industry transformation for Ghana's growth. That's the Daily Democrat. Daily Banner says minority blows alarm on over $1.2 million passport relaunch scandal. Sports Minister promises to upgrade Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And Sampine charges MPP youth. Court clears way for Ablekuma election rerun. And that's happening tomorrow. The NPP is not ready. The overseer is here and it says that Mahama fulfills pledge, nominates Sukaru and three others as deputy ministers and NDC to sack party executives in government. And Ablekuma ran, let's work to fix broken EC. Omane Boama tells NPP. Ken Thompson chairs newly inaugurated ADB board. That's also captured by the overseer. And it says Ghana didn't support LGBTQ rights. A block on UN abstention claims. And money defeats love. NDC former PC aspirant loses fiancé to top BOG staff and spent the night at police station.
What did you say?
NDC former PC aspirant has lost his fiancé to top BOG staff. And actually, I had to spend the night in police station as well. This is money defeats love. And the last one will be the New Republic. It says Kwawu Chieftaincy Tassel Dasibre Akua Japan II reaffirmed as Kwawu Mahine 24-hour security requested as tensions mount in Kwawu and Tokonu drags nation to ECOWAS court over sacking bid and NPP's Ablekuma North dream crashed courts green lights rerun party panics. China dashes Ghana $30 million Mahama direct use of funds for a flower market redevelopment and government host high-level agri-business forum to boost industrial growth. And Prof and lawyer, your friend has taken Ghana to the ECOWAS. Maybe that will be the last thing you your dear friend has taken Ghana to ECOWAS. You've been advising her to actually try and give up on this. Yeah. She keeps going to different levels.
You create a certain perception about yourself in the eyes of the people. And I think, really and truly, I think if it is based on principle, she's proven her point, hasn't she?
Yeah.
All the press
conference
had, the details she's talked about, she's gone into it, although I think what she did really was against the Constitution, but it's her right, you know. So going up to the ECOWAS court, why? This is what I'll say. If they say pack it and, you know, live your life. After all, what? Is this the first thing in this country or in this world where principles have been questioned about a certain act? It won't be the first. But it's a citizen of Ghana, and for me, this is my point. Although people are adducing politics to it, it's a citizen of Ghana that put in a petition to the presidency. If the president had put it under his table and did nothing about it, will we not complain? Will we not say, oh boy, constitutional,
says, yeah.
This is what he says you should do, so why have you put it under your table? But he went according to what the Constitution said. He went to the Council of State. The Council of State saw there was a prima facie case. He went on, set the committee, suspended. And as I said, that clause 11 in 146 is where she should have gone to, which would appeal to the president, because the president has the discretion in 11 to do what? Revoke a suspension that he put in place. That, for me, was where she should have passed it to. But she didn't. What can I say?
Prof.
Yeah.
So if ECOWAS court doesn't work, well, you're going then to where? Well, African court. If African court doesn't work, then where are you going? I mean, come on.
Since Lawyer Kwame Jontua has spoken on this issue, at least he's a lawyer, I can understand. I discussed this thing based on let me say, common sense and roadside idea of some law. And I'm beginning to imagine the locus of the ECOWAS Court on our constitution. This is a constitutional issue that we are implementing. It is not a personal matter. It is something that is prescribed in our constitution. It is the same constitution that outlined how we elected our president and swear them in. It is the same constitution that outlines how someone who has a grievance or has perceived that a person occupying that high office has misconducted him or herself to a petition for a process. The process requires that you be suspended. And I'm struggling to understand why the former Chief Justice, suspended though, is thinking that she should still be in office while this process is ongoing, with all the abilities and capabilities to shortchange the system. Unless she is thinking that the law is no longer the law when it comes to her, and for that matter, this process to remove her should not have started in the first place. That would have actually meant that contravening a constitutional provision that allows every citizen the right to petition for the removal of an officer in that category. So I don't see the common sense. I'm not talking of law here. I don't see the common sense in that approach. Yes, lawyer, I'm sure you're laughing. This is common sense matter. What is the common sense? That I struggle to petition. We are here talking about whistleblower. It's the same thing. Somebody has petitioned that you have abused your office. There is a procedure for removing you. They have implemented that procedure and you are taking people to court. Are you above the law that we shouldn't implement that bit of the Constitution when it comes to you? It's neither here nor there. And taking the thing to the ECOWAS Court is just mind-boggling. I'm struggling to see what provision that ECOWAS Court is going to invoke to tell Ghana to set aside its constitution, something that governs everything in this country. I don't know how that ECOWAS
maybe the intended purpose, which of course she's mentioned severally, that this is not for her, that this is for the generations yet unborn and people who will be putting in a position like where she's been. And so all the fights about what is going on right now is not, I want to take it to the last point of this so that people will understand that I didn't just give up for those who are behind me.
In my last job, I was a teacher. You examine students, you set questions, you make a marking scheme, and you are marking. The marking scheme is the constitution in this case. The student's case is written on that paper. It doesn't matter what you say anywhere else. If you have not said it, written it in the paper, I can't grade you that, oh, you actually know this thing, but you didn't write it. What the Chief Justice can do is to make her case to that committee. But he has started from trying to denigrate every person in that committee, cast the president in a certain light as a tormentor in chief and all those things. And now you are going to the ECOWAS Court for what? If you have a case, prove it to the committee. Because me sitting here and looking at the people, the caliber of people in that committee, they are right-standing citizens of this country. People we can proudly tell our children to look up to. So if you sit here, if you get up every day and tell them that the people you served with on the bench for such a long time, all of a sudden, if they are chosen to oversee or preside over something that concerns you, they are corrupt and incompetent. No, we can't take that. After all, we are applying the law here, and as far as everyone is concerned, the Constitution takes precedence. And I don't see even the United Nations thinking that or intervening and saying that we have abused any process against her. I would tell her if she has a case, she should prove it to the committee. After that, she can go on and hold all press conferences. And if she wants, hold public lectures. She can make it a career after office. After all, Charlotte Osei has moved on. She should move on and let us have our peace.
Very well.
This platform, we use it to educate.
Yep.
So, just something. You know, we keep using a certain word that doesn't mean what we mean. Severally doesn't mean several times. Severally means to a great degree. Severally implies a high level of intensity, seriousness, or extremity, harsh or strongly. It can suggest a strong or harsh impact, effect, or criticism. So let's try not to use severally to mean several times. If you want to say several times, not severally. It's only the Oxford Dictionary has decided to target severally for Nigerians. They've allowed Nigerians to use it because Nigerians are using it everywhere. Please, let's use the words right.
Oh, yeah, of
because
course.
severally doesn't mean...
I think of...
And it's the opposite of it.
Yeah, we are actually, maybe, sometimes I'm not too keen about those linguistic things. Yes, we more or less have to agree that our culture to a certain degree have influenced our understanding and use of English language, and we interact with people every day. Sometimes we use it right.
Let's use it right.
Yeah, I get it, but yeah, I didn't use it.
Let's use it right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, very well. So that's on the CJ's issue. We're hoping that... So, Prof,
if you were the CJ, what would you do?
At this point, I think even for the family and everybody that is involved in this, I'd rather just let this...
Yeah, let it be. You've made your point.
Yeah.
Made your point.
Moving into that level and all of that.
So the ECOWAS court comes and says government is not government, but what they're doing is right because it's constitutional.
What's next?
What happens?
Well, a lawyer, maybe you can tell us her chances. You know.
Yeah. I can't tell you. No, I can't tell you.
No, I don't think she has any.
I can't tell you.
If there's the likelihood that...
I don't know what I do. I'm sure that the Constitution would be part and parcel of some of the documents that they review as to whether the president has the right to suspend her, and then go into the evidence that she adduces to the panel or whoever is going to handle it. But let's see.
I don't also see, of course, ECOWAS conventions and other things taking precedence over our Constitution. I struggle to see it. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm struggling to see how they can actually intervene in this case. Apart from trying to just make ugly noises here and there and make the process appear somehow flawed. I strongly believe that it's not going to help the case of the suspended Chief Justice, and she needs to move on. Yeah, let the process play out. If she gets removed, she should move on. Everybody gets removed at a certain point in time. And,
no position is permanent.
No position is permanent.
Including the EC?
Yes. and that is why we are, even me here, I'm here on secondment, hoping that one day when my time is up.
Even life is not permanent.
Life is not permanent.
When your time is up,
you should move on, please. I think so.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, that's on the EC, but you can also send your messages to us. Let us know what you think, and you can send us on WhatsApp or Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can send it over there and share your thought with us. We've discussed a couple of issues with the 10% incentive and then also the CJ who's taking Ghana to the ECOWAS court as well. So you can also share your thought on those ones. And of course, the major one, tomorrow is the big day. And the court has dismissed MPP's candidate bid to actually hold Sablikuma North run. And also, the NPP says that they are not ready for this election because they believe that there are certain things the EC has done that do not really help in terms of the elections for tomorrow, and they want that to be addressed. And the NDC believes that, well, they've got the power, and they believe that they're going to be coming out victorious when they will go for that rerun tomorrow. And so they are very much ready. Global Info Analytics says that there's going to be a voting apathy, and most likely the NDC will be winning this election tomorrow. We're looking at that. I've been also joined by Dr. Dickson Adomako Kissi. He's here. He's a former MP for Anyaso too, and in the camp of Dr. Brian Echampo. Safe to say so, right? Great. Doc, how is it going? Tomorrow is just how many hours away?
Let me say that it's unfortunate It's unfortunate. It's a neighboring town, Akua North, to Anyaso, to share borders.
Yeah.
And let me say that I've actually lived within there for some time during my childhood. So I know the place quite well. But there are a few key things. It should be on record that it's been a strong MPP, though the presidential swings in some, elections. But it's been largely a seat for the MPP. Granted, with what happened with Adomako Kissi, I cannot stick my neck out and say that on December 7th we won. I mean, personally, I can't. But per the party's records, based on what the General Secretary said, that per our records, per our pink sheets, the gap was 400 and something votes per our records, and that they felt strongly that the AC was supposed to have been empowered to declare in our favor. And as it is, the party feels strongly that this is more of an arm-twisting thing. Be it as it may, we are one party that protested doing presidential before parliamentary. And this is playing out almost so like a presidential verdict already handed out. And then we're doing the parliamentary. And then the inconsistency on the part of the EC, I mean, let's be very frank about it, with regards to Akua North, in the sense that at some point in time, we were having discussions about 3 polling centers, and now it's 19. So that is one thing. And then at some point in time, there was this notion in Parliament that there'll be no rerun, based on what Bosman said in Parliament. So as it stands now, the Electoral Commission has been inconsistent with regards to Akua North. And personally, I feel that the incompetence of the Electoral Commission at this point in time, because of their dilly-dallying or their inconsistency, asks for a bigger question. And for me, looking at the order of events, where we were disputing 3, as when Ngetia comes out and says that the EC woman should be removed, and is she under duress now? What has changed? I mean, that's a big question. What has changed? And be it as it may, I think that as a political party, 2 things can happen. Those who displayed apathy may now have gone to vote. It's possible. There's also the other bit where others who feel that, if the presidency is NDC, why worry? And may not now even go and vote. In addition, the display, and quite frankly, I have stated in many places that I strongly feel that the early concession
during the elections,
is what's playing out now. In the case of Nsewam Adwejiri, it played out. Obuasi East, it played out. Even Akwetia, it played out. And now, Akua North is a climax where the NDC apparatchiks got empowered, I think, when we declared early that we had lost the election. I'm of the opinion that we could have used very powerful stalwarts in the NPP to signal that we've lost the election. I mean, listen, when the place of gathering starts thinning out, and we tell people that, things aren't looking good, you go home, and we're waiting for the EC to declare. So, I mean, that should have been the
flag bearer coming out to officially say that.
2020, I don't remember Mahama conceding. Personally, I don't remember. I don't remember. And in other elections, those who lose, I don't know how.
We wait till everything settles and then we all believe
there's no rush to go and declare that you've lost.
But they still believe that was a good decision.
No, I mean, listen, that is my personal opinion.
Okay.
And I think I have every right to that. Because when you look at, how the NDC boys, let me put it that way, bounced on
capitalized on that.
And capitalized on
declaration.
People. There may be even additional seats that we lost due to that because of, more president, come on now. And listen, per the account of Obuasi East, Member of Parliament, who, and let me add Okankwe Central. Sadiq wanted to arm twist, Patrick Wama. And if not for his experience as a politician and stood his ground and had his documents, would have lost that too. So in hindsight, I think that Ablekuma North is largely also due to a rush to declare. There are many school of thoughts, but this is my take on it. Now, we will not be there.
You're not showing up.
Based on
the party's not showing up.
Based on the account of NEC, that if the rerun proceeds, will not partake. And even from a political standpoint, how do you campaign from today till tomorrow?
But it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
You wouldn't have said the results.
If you're not partaking, then that means you are allowing literally the NDC to have their way and their day tomorrow. And when you are playing soccer and there's no goalkeeper, come on now. Is literally...
But that's your standpoint.
No, that's the party.
Because the party took that decision, but it doesn't stop the process.
Yes, because certainly the legal backing is also not there to, as it is, stop the EC from conducting. So as it stands now, there'll be, literally the goalpost there for NDC to have their day. And it is on principle, which I think that I feel so bad for Akua Afriyie personally, because I know how much time and effort and energy she's put in for the primaries, beyond the primaries to the election day. And we all went through a blow when we lost on December 7th. But she's had to maintain the hope of going towards this thing, whether win or lose, for 6 months, only to be told by NEC or be part of the meeting, and then they tell you that we will, per the vehicle you are running on, the party says that do not partake. And it's a huge blow. I feel quite bad. I cannot be in her shoes, but I can almost imagine the psychological, emotional, financial drain that she's gone through. And mind you, the people were not, there was no mercy for the cripple. I know people were still going to her, making campaigning type of demands, and it's stressful. If you had promised to do some things that you would have gotten away with by December 7th, that burden still would hold on. So it's a very painful experience. I think that she should take on the EC for compensation. That is
after the election.
That is, I think it is only fair that she sues them because, she has every right to sue them in the sense that she, she feels that her rights as a candidate has been trampled and that it doesn't make sense about the inconsistency with the EC. And let me say this, that listen.
Okay, and wrap up for me then.
To wrap up. Yeah. Regardless of the two parties, which is the NDC and PP, if our polling agents are not there, the Electoral Commission must have appropriate documentation to vouch for the results. Each polling station
even without your agents.
That's the school of thought, and that is how it works. Supposing you're a party and you don't have representation at any polling center, it doesn't mean that you should have 0. I mean, or there should be like nothing to prove that the NDC got 2 and you got 1, or nothing. There has to be appropriate,
so this is just your conscience.
So the key question is at the 19 polling centers, where were the EC officers? And is it the case that they were threatened, they ran away? What is it? I mean, what transpired? Even if the NDC, NPP even had wrong pink sheets or tampered with the pink sheets, where is the EC officers? Where are they? Where are the 19 Electoral Commission officers? And that is why I think that the woman has a case. I mean, she should be able to take them on, and then get compensated for this travesty.
All right, Prof.
Welcome, Dickson, of course, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I hope Brian Champon is doing very well. And I'm struggling to understand where my true friend is coming from. Talking about their position against parliamentary after presidential run. Yes, we know, of course, we ran them at the same time because we don't want to get people who feel that if they don't have the presidency, the parliamentary elections mean nothing. But we do have by-elections. And you contest when a president is sitting. In fact, there are instances where the opposition party or the party in minority actually goes to win an election against an incumbent that is still in office. So to say that when you have a sitting president, there is no incentive to do the parliamentary is a bit overstretched for me here. I also now struggle to appreciate the position of the New Patriotic Party when it comes to the Electoral Commission. Because this is an Electoral Commission that right from day one, we have sounded alarm that it is highly incompetent. Of the 3 electoral commissions we've had, the Afarijan Electoral Commission, the Charlotte Osei Electoral Commission, and now the Jean Mensa Electoral Commission, let me put it that way. This is the most abysmal one of the 3. And we have been sounding that alarm. The MPP has been the one that has protected this Electoral Commission because they were the primary beneficiary of the incompetence. And now that incompetence has finally reflected in a manner that cannot be hidden, that the Electoral Commission has failed to secure vital information and data that can prove the results of the election in one way or the other. They are now saying that the Electoral Commission is incompetent and agreeing with the NDC and others that this Electoral Commission ought not to have been there in the first place. I agree with you, but it's rather too late. And we cannot measure competence based on how the Electoral Commission favors you. And that is what I'm seeing here. You see, I blame the NDC anyway to a large extent. And I want to commend the timely intervention of lawyer Tamaklo and Mane Boma and also Rashid Tanko Computer for their intervention to stop what was going on at the training school. Because, you see, Doc is now sitting here and trying to cite those 4 instances like Sawam Eduajiri and Ekwetia and Obuasi as something similar to this. And the Electoral Commission, in most of the cases, declared results in the polling station, which was actually what is supposed to happen per the LI. But you took the whole process to the high walls of the police training school under tight security and then started doing things. And I want to commend those people for intervening to stop it. But Ablikumanov would have gone the same way. And after standing their ground, you have not been able to prove your case either in court, by data, or through elections. I'm surprised that the MPP is afraid of elections today. I am particularly shocked. Because
they believe the right things.
They believe they will lose. No Ghanaian who is interested in the well-being of this country will see the current MPP as an alternative.
Really?
And that is what they are afraid to face. That is the truth. I don't see any person who would see what is currently going on in the economy, get up, bath, take a means, go and queue, and vote for the MPP. And that is what they should be working at, re-engineering themselves to become an alternative. Rather than everything I see, I call it a mechanism and domestics. Every day, some demonstration here, sit on the floor and wail. And that Ghanaians are not seeing that you are positioning yourself as an alternative. And until you do that, you cannot face the MPP.
But they've got genuine concerns. All the things that have happened.
Those genuine concerns have been hidden because they were benefiting from the incompetence of the EC. And let me be honest with you. Let me be honest with you. If this EC had not done what it did, the MPP, the numbers they'll be getting in these elections will be in the lower 20s. Right from the time of the limited voter registration, when they decided to go and hold those registrations at the district capitals, making elections an issue of money. It meant that if you didn't have the capacity to bus your members and go and camp them in a hotel in case they are not able to go through the process, for them to register.
Go back and,
so elections was decided by money. If those two factors were not there, ably enabled by the Electoral Commission, the numbers of the MPP in the December 7 polls would have been more abysmal. And if I am in the MPP, that is what I'm going to be more worried about. That today you are a battered brand that you even fear to go into an election. If you won the Ablokuma North elections, you can go in there and make a case. Let's see how you perform. That is information to you. Failing to go and contest this election, the outstanding election, actually tells Ghanaians that you don't have confidence in yourselves. I had my senior in secondary school, Kamal Dean, yesterday, one of your deputy communications officers, saying that they shouldn't contest Equity as a tribute to the late honorable member of parliament. I read that, and I was shocked, not surprised though, because this is a party that has lost members of parliament and they have contested those elections. What is different now in this case? No, you have a government that is on top of issues, not only a listening one, willing to correct itself where it makes mistakes, listening to the people and delivering results for this country. I remember several months ago, as early as in April, when I first sat here and I was in this same studio with Joy News, I did say that the economy had turned the corner. I did predict that the CD was going to rise, and I advised people to start offloading their CDs. Those who agreed keep sending me messages and thanking me, because anyone who understood the architecture of the Ghanaian economy realized that this government was on top of issues. This government has been listening to the people. And you look at the position of the president, even where we feel we need to take some steps back, the president has led the way. That is what the MPP has not done. And in opposition, they are not rebranding themselves to do that. You have opened a school, all right. What are you going to teach in there? Can you begin to say, this is our shortcomings, let's go and do that, rather than trying to blame people for the misgovernance you subjected this country to over a period of 8 years, and the results of which is now haunting you. That is the bottom line of it. There's nothing. You can hold elections even in your strongholds in Kumasi today. I can tell you, we will come there and beat you because we don't think that you are an alternative. Address that one, and we'll be happy to have you in the system here. It's not an issue of trying to blame anybody. But thank you that you have joined us, and you now notice that the Electoral Commission doesn't deserve, it's not fit for purpose. It has been biased, it has been incompetent, even in pronouncing results. Common election results, statistical issues, you do them 3 times. And this is what you should have done. When Jean Mensa had the opportunity to go to court and give an account over her stewardship of the 2020 elections, you used backdoor channels and other things and prevented her from being cross-examined. These incompetencies would have been exposed and we won't be here. So I'm happy that your chickens are coming home to roost, and better go and count them. That's all I'll say. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof. You can also join us and share your thought with us. Our WhatsApp line is active. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise.
Honorable Dickson indicated that Akua Afriyie
should sue the EC.
How does she sue?
She hasn't got that right to sue the EC for
a court has
the compensation that she's gone through.
It was taken to court. The court said the election should go on. So who are you going to sue? It's backed.
For 3.
It's backed.
At that time for 3.
It's backed. It's what?
So at that time was for 3.
Now it's 19.
Whatever the case is, the court said the elections can go on. Whether it is 3, whether it is 19, whether it is 200, the court has given the chance that it should go on. The most she can do is appeal the court's judgment. So she should go and appeal. I don't see how she can sue. Maybe they have some magic wand that they can use to sue, but I don't see it. I asked the question, and for me, this is where the challenge is. Is it party first or constituents first?
Well, it should be about people.
Exactly. I don't understand when political parties come and say, we are not standing, we are not standing. Have you consulted the people? Have you gone to the people to say, these are our reasons why we don't want to stand, and heard what the people have to say to you, that no, irrespective, we need to stand to keep our voices in there? One of the major challenges the CPP has is because nobody hears us. We are not in the elections, so nobody hears the party. Do you want to be like that, especially with such a crashing elections in 2024? I don't understand it. I find it very difficult, because whatever the case is, and as Prof rightly said, you would use it to test the waters. You would gain some data from it, information from it, heading into 2020.
They've already done that. The Michael Quay report came out, indicated all that they have done wrong.
Yes, indicated that
they need this one.
Test this election.
That point.
Even if you go and you have 2, you've learned something from it. That would now inure you to 2028. Because all this is heading for 2028. And, you know, if it so happens that President Mahama delivers on his word in these next 4 years, it's not going to be easy for the MPP. It's not going to be easy for the MPP. It won't be easy for them. So this is the time to start building confidence. Irrespective of whatever you think you'd get in the election, start building confidence. And I keep saying it. People should gradually, gravitate towards you. But if you keep doing these things, yes, there will be apathy. You are the largest opposition party, and you're walking away and saying you won't vote. And remember, if they don't go in and contest, the NDC is going to get that 2/3 majority they want in Parliament. And once they get that 2/3 majority they want in Parliament, and they can do things right, you think you can break them in 2028? Especially when you, the MPP, you are fielding more than 5 candidates for your presidential election. With such a scenario, what the MPP has gone through, you should all stand behind one. It could be his candidate, it could be President Baumia, Vice President Baumia, it could be any of the others there. But decide that one candidate, let's agree, and then start pushing your agenda. Your 2028 starts today. Your 2028 started once 2024 had ended. Start pushing the agenda, start pushing the agenda, because you have the wherewithal to do it. So why are you saying an opportunity of elections has come up?
Maybe they want the right thing to be done. We believe that these things that the EC has done.
You said you are.
So they should do the right thing.
You said you are a party that believes in the rule of law. It's gone to court. The court said let it happen. Take it like that and move. Keep that mantra of you being a party of rule of law and move. irrespective. We are still going on.
Abstinence is also acceptable.
Abstinence is acceptable, but it can be detrimental to you.
But it's also a stand.
I said it can be detrimental.
Sometimes you abstain from voting.
It could be a stand, but it could be what? It could be a problem for you.
Yeah, but they want to choose that path.
It's unfortunate. You see, it's unfortunate, and I'll say this. It's unfortunate the mess that President Akua Afriyie has created in the MPP. It's unfortunate.
All this is his fault.
You think the vote against the MPP was the entire MPP? It was the lead. People voted against President Akua Afriyie for what he had done within his tenure. Dr. Baumia and all these things, it was because there were certain things he could not align with and could not also speak against it.
To save himself from BP.
And when you speak to MPP people, behind, Dickson himself, let's go out there and let's ask. He will say yes. It was a factor. It was a factor. It was a huge factor. It was a huge factor. President Akua Afriyie's way of handling the MPP was a huge factor in their loss. It's a huge factor. Nobody can deny that. They themselves will not deny it. And the so-called grappling of the Chim Mafia on the MPP created problems, major problems for them. And it's not perceived, it is there. Dickson, don't do that.
Oh.
You see, sometimes it's good to speak. I know the challenges in my party, that people are not prepared to say, okay, let's come together as an increment grouping. We are all splintered. Let's come together. But there's personal interest in there that make it difficult. So anytime you try to push 3 steps backwards, you try to push 3 steps backwards, and one person can't do it. It has to be a group of people. And, for us, we need to stop this leadership thing. Let's all come together. Let's work the party to such a way and let the best man win. It can't be a Kwame Jantua who is going to win. It can't be an Anaya Jantua who is going to win. It could be, a PNC guy from there who would win. And we all follow them. And I keep saying, my father used to tell me in 79, they didn't even have party office. They were organizing under trees. But because the organization was strong, who was Liman? Who knew Liman? Liman wasn't in our police. He was actually even in the opposition party. His support was more on the UP tradition. When he came, did he not win? He won hands down. So for me, they need to be able to build their party back up. Luckily, President Akua Afriyie is no more there, although he would have a say in there. But he's no more there. So for me, this is not the time to be boycotting, especially with where you find yourself in the whole gamut of elections. This is not the time. This is the time to build unity and to build confidence heading for 2028. But if another by-election comes up, he said 19 polling stations, use it as a test case. Okay, let's see, out of these 19, which can we win? Go down there and do your homework to the hilt. Right now, there's not enough time for you to even go and do your homework, because you've used all to argue and do all sorts of things about the EC. So let's see. They are boycotting. Are they only boycotting Ablekuma? Or they are boycotting all the 19?
No, all of them. I mean, it's the same so it's the same 19
So the same 19 polling stations.
Yeah, they are not even doing it at all.
They are not being responsible to their supporters in that constituency. Simple. You're a political party because people vote for you. You're not a political party because you vote for the people. It's the people who vote for you. So for anything at all, go back to the people. Look, when you go to the British Parliament, they actually, when they are explaining things, they actually mention constituents' names, who they have sat and discussed the issue with. They can't stand in Parliament. Such and such a person is the teacher in such and such a school. And when we interviewed, this is what they said. Such and such a person drives a bus here. So you know that they've been into the constituency to do the homework. What homework have they done? I would have loved it, a situation where they would come and tell us that the people in Ablekuma are supporting Ablekuma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have even signed a petition that we shouldn't stand. So based on that, we are not standing. Has it happened?
All right. We're going to be listening to the people of the constituency and hear what they have to say. I think if we have that video, let's take a look at it, and then I'll come back and read some of your messages. I see that Honorable Timothy Atabwade has also sent us a message as well. Maybe let me just do it real quick, and then we'll get to the constituency. It says, good morning, Honorable Adomako. Wonders they say never ends. When the NPP was busy populating the EC with the NPP card-bearing members, and we warned them, they called our bluff today. I am exceedingly and overjoyed. The NPP are reaping the whirlwind. They, if nakedness promises a cloth, you know of his name, his candidate to actually sue you. The EC that announced presidential results this time. Okay, so that's Honorable Timothy Atabwade. I want to be also doing the watching this morning right here on the show. Now, let's take a look at the video of the constituents and what they have to say with regards to the rerun, and then I'll come back and do some of your messages as well.
Of the Ablekuma North constituency, where in the next few hours on Friday, the rerun of elections at 19 polling stations will be happening in order to resolve the 7-month-long dispute over the parliamentary election results. At the center of this issue are two divided opinions. For the NDC and the Electoral Commission, they would have to do a rerun in order to get an MP for the constituency. But for the NPP, they have pulled out of the election because they believe a rerun is in violation of the electoral regulations as well as the orders of the court. We are here to gauge the mood of constituents ahead of that election on Friday.
About Friday, na mesenya ntia sa asem na o masa de kokko to se de ntino se beba se ye beto ba ne Friday dia die hia ye 1 MP ne eda nchen ya de se hia no ya asumdue kire se asumdue no hod mo bi no betumi edai akoba bi opese woko nti se ye beto aba hard Friday se de o ma na kana ye gina yo mamba nti ne ye nto aba no asumdue kwan so se de be ya after battle no ye gina benya kwan edai aba ye nwuma so.
Oh, when there's an aneti, almost about some babies see and no court to some near the idea in Ambem, Baffin and Rabase, Everton of Fontina, easy for an some bebana, Yenia to Abanas, Ablekuma North.
So you're also going to vote on Friday?
Yeah.
What do you make out of the process so far?
Oh, you see, we are all looking up to the Electoral Commission. She is the referee, or that body is the referee. Oh. So whatever they will come up with, we'll follow. So I'll go and vote.
That is the view of the constituents in Ablekuma here. A number of them will be going out to vote on Friday. A number of them also do not have their votes in here. But I think one thing is clear, that no matter what it is, they all want an MP to be declared by end of Friday. And so we look forward to what comes out of the vote on Friday. But they are united in one voice calling for a peaceful election process on Friday. From Kwashima here in Ablekuma, my name is James Savaji for Joy News. This is the Kwashima.
All right, we're back, and we're going to get into some of the messages that you've sent to us this morning on the issues we've talked about. This one is from Kefrin Pong, and it says, good morning, KMJ. With the greatest of respect, there is no sense in the EC calling for a rerun of Ablekuma North election. The EC on several occasions wrote the IGP to provide them security to declare Ablekuma North elections. So what result were they going to declare that suddenly has disappeared to warrant a rerun? The level of hypocrisy in this country is mind-blowing. There's absolutely nothing wrong if the president's son, daughter, brother, or niece is working and getting contracts. This is how one party, NDC, continues to attack their opponents when their relatives are working. The NDC said all manner of things about President Kufuor's son for buying a hotel which does not belong to the state. They went after President Kufuor's daughter for opening just a restaurant. Brian Champon was attacked for trying to get close to La Palm Hotel sale. And it goes on, it says, today, the president's brother has secured a loan of $130 million from West Africa main intergovernmental bank. Strangely, the chairperson of EBIT is no other person but Atu Forsen. Mr. Ibrahim Mahama never secured this loan until his brother became a president, and his brother's finance minister, the chairperson of the bank, he has been granted this loan. Well, they issued a statement to clear some of these allegations about when the whole process was started, and it goes as far back as 2023. If you check the response that was given in terms of when the loan, the whole project was secured. Now, today we are being told that it is time for Ghanaians to own mining companies. So, Wuntumi is a Nigerian. So suddenly, there's nothing wrong for president relatives to own businesses and even take over state resources. That is where the hypocrisy comes in. So we no longer have family and friends getting contracts and jobs. Suddenly, the people who made so much noise about family and friends getting contracts and jobs in government have all gone to sleep. And it says, greetings to my uncle, Mr. Jantua, and congratulations to his appointment, Ban Papa Abba Ampa. Oh. Kevin Paul, where are you? Which side of the... I'm telling you. Which area do you want to go this morning anyway? Good morning. I will plead with all NPP sympathizers to troop to Ablekuma North as we work towards victory tomorrow. And let's get to all the household and let them know why Akua Afriyie is the best. And that's from Daniel Opong in Ablekuma Central constituency. You are in Central, this is North. Now, Basintele was there yesterday with 5K men and with motorbikes and all that. It's that sometimes let us not think power is only for today. Power changes. The NDC should know that lost the elections. It's very painful when you know you have won an election, but a group of people want to hold your hands. I know Honorable Akua Afriyie will emerge victorious. Let's get on grounds and work for our mom. Daniel in Ablekuma Central sent in that one as well. This one says, good morning, my lovely bro. Concerning the ritual killing in Adidome, it is not about the social media. Oh, it is not about the social media, as Mr. Jantua said. The fact is there is a shrine at Adidome and coastal areas and called Kwaku Fodu, Kwaku Idol, which is it's powered by human blood to work supernatural. It's managed mostly by young men. That's why they keep on killing human beings like an animal. There are some in our area. Emmanuel from Ketavota region. Wow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm troubled. This still persists? I see. Good morning, everyone. EC has no right to rerun Ablekuma North without court order. Mr. Kwame Jantua and his NDC should know that in 2008, Akotia rerun was a court order. Christian from Sandema.
They forget that they forget that I'm an opposition party. They forget that CB is in opposition.
I'm telling you, don't leave you alone. Akonsi Gariba from Tamale says that, good morning, Kev. The rerun for the Ablekuma North is wrong. No party should benefit from any form and shape of vandalism, else the NDC is setting a bad precedent that will come back to hurt them. My first question to the EC is, will they duplicate sheets for the party agents after voting? If they were, can the EC use it to declare the winner for the Ablekuma North elections? However, the truth shall make Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the next president of Ghana. Good morning, KJ. Ablekuma remain a no-go area for the NPP because the Ghanaians are fed up with them. President John Mahama is resetting the country for the youth to enjoy. All right, you didn't add your name to it. Let me go to Master Planner. And it says, good morning, KMJ. It seems elections is not an area of speciality for Professor Ayamga. I expected to enjoy his submission backed with facts and figures as a professor, but it turned out to be like the usual ordinary propaganda by NDC communicators. Ask lawyer Jantua whether NDC has also talked to the constituents as to whether they also want to vote. He shouldn't be asking one-sided question in favor of the NDC.
Have they said they are not going to vote? Let me see how they say they are not going to vote.
It says, I agree with the NPP not to contest in the rerun of the Ablekumanov. He should chop his house matter and stop that deceptive advice. If he has any advice, he should advise his collapse CPP to revive. Master Planner, he loves his CPP. He's not supporting any party the way.
Did I not talk about CPP? I was giving my comment.
Yeah.
I did.
How they're even supposed to come together and all that. Dear KMJ, I'm glad that Getchutokono is suspended and the rule of law is relatively becoming better because the NPP's Ablekumanov constituency rerun injunction would have been upheld by the High Court in favor of the NPP. I am sure the NPP will lose the Ablekumanov constituency elections. Another humiliating defeat is looming for the NPP. KMJ, while I am excited by the sterling performance of His Excellency Mohammed's governance, I am not enthused about his dilly-dallying approach in the fight against Galamsey. We're told LI 2462 will be repealed, but what are we witnessing? I urge Mohammed to declare a state of emergency on water bodies and forest reserves without delay. As for the removal of the Getchutekonu, I am convinced that the president has not breached any of the Article 146 provisions, so the process must continue and forget about the cacophony Getchutekonu mix. Good morning, Charles Echampong Sashi Humjabre in the Western North region, and that's Charles. Let me go to Musa Abato in Asawasi. It says the MPP's claim of victory in Ablekumanov lacks truthfulness and credibility. If you're truly confident that you won, then why run away from a simple rerun in the disputed polling stations? Your reluctance only exposes your fear of defeat. The blame must be squarely placed on the Electoral Commission, whose gross incompetence continues to undermine our democratic process. How can EC officials misplace original pink sheets in such critical polling stations? This is not just negligence, it's a deliberate attempt to cover up irregularities. Okay, those are some of the messages that we've sent to us. We'll be checking on Facebook before we wrap up, but that's on WhatsApp. And we're going to do our last comment on this, and then we'll wrap up for this morning. I'll start off with Doc.
Yeah.
The Global Info Analytics believe that, Musa believes that you're losing the election. You're likely going to lose the elections because there's going to be voting apathy as well. Well, he's always come after the NPP. Some of you believe that he's just been biased and all that. The last time was with Miracle Abuaje and him back and forth and all that. You still believe that his report is credible?
Let me be very candid. Last year, the winds of change were not favorable for incumbents. And I said this on one of the platforms. I mean, I know my own party came after me for that. When you looked at what happened in South Africa, where the ruling party had to broker, to be able to run the country. Elections changed. The landscape changed for South Africa. When you go to England, the Conservatives lost brutally. You understand? And then even India was also crazy. India had a huge seismic shift. The Prime Minister's party, stalwarts in the party, lost, heavily. And
America.
Well, I mean, the same.
Democrats.
So last year, based on the global economic challenges, was tough for any ruling government. Okay, against all of that, then comes Ghana. I mean, post-COVID, post-Russia, Ukraine, and admittedly, now, well, we are here now. Now in government, the NDC can attest to the fact that the Iranian issue is affecting fuel prices. I mean, admittedly. So you are never really an island. Now, what I'm trying to get at is that despite all these challenges, it also made it very clear to us that, and post-election is very clear that people are not happy with our governance style, which contributed largely to the apathy. Now, it's been 6 months post-election. The question remains, are people still in that quadrum? Are they still not able to come out and vote? And that is another whole discussion. I strongly have told a lot of people that if the Democrats in America, with 50 states, have changed their leadership, one party in just Ghana, one state, we should have upped all of our games to ensure that I'm not pushing for a change in the leadership, but we need to know which leaders we're going into battle with by now. And I'm not talking about the flag bearer, but I'm talking about the party itself. And I think that we should have done our homework to really...
The executives you have are not fit for purpose?
As it stands now, admittedly, and it's public notice that our chairman...
All of them.
Wait. Our chairman is incognito on health grounds.
Yes.
And a party without a
the head, if you
substantive chairman.
He hasn't been strong all this since he came in.
My point, and you're just reiterating my point, and that is why I say that
not strong in health, but strong in
terms of position.
Yes, he hasn't used it.
Well, if he's not being healthy, he cannot be as productive.
When did the health start? Before they voted or after?
I don't think I can go into that on air. But my point is that that makes a strong case for the need to change or put them to whatever rigor that is necessary to correct chairman, secretary, organizer at least, so that we know who are manning the party. And I think that if we don't do this, then we literally hand over the party to whoever becomes flag bearer. And I think that is troubling because then you might become a flag bearer for a smaller portion of the party.
Yeah.
Because many would then just say that, oh, if it's not my flag bearer, then I'm not going to even go for chairmanship. I'm not going to go for coordinatorship. A lot of people will just recline. And that may affect us in the 2028 election. So these are my worry. I'm not on NEC. I'm not on the second highest body of taking decisions, but that is from a party grassroots member. That is my worry. Now, I think that if that is done, then we could be attending to some of these issues. And I must almost admit that even our decision not to go tomorrow may have changed if we had fresh leadership. And when I mean fresh leadership, it could be that we're maintaining one or two people, but at least there'll be a new chairman who can call the shots and be very firm and you know, make a very solid point moving forward. So I'm not the only person who thinks that the total human capacity in terms of our executives and their understanding and appreciation of parliamentary work is low relative to the ruling party now.
Yeah.
And I say that with the greatest of respect because Asiedu Nketia has been in parliament before. Our chairman hasn't. Our secretary, similar. Felix, you have Felix. Ours, Fifi Kwete, yeah? Ours hasn't. I mean, Fifi Kwete was even a minister at some point.
You
get my whole point. So invariably, it behoves on us to make a very solid change, you know, to the total quantum of human capital at our executive level.
Okay.
And for that matter, let me say that we need to be very serious as a party in terms of people who are even trying to aspire for any regional constituency level elections. And we need to be very aggressive with the NDC 2028. And I'm told I'm gentle, but I must admit we cannot be too gentle with the next election. we need to be boisterous.
Okay, boisterous. On that note, Prof, you also have 2 minutes, and Lawyer Kwame will have 2 minutes in the way wrap up.
Yes, I struggle to understand where Doc is standing.
You always struggle.
Yes, the issue is that, you see, I don't want to go into the issues of electoral commission, especially data, because no data you present here matters. There is no enough information that can sway this election any other way apart from a rerun. Me sitting here, I would have preferred a rerun in the whole constituency. Let's just go in for a fresh election in there. To go in for one election, 19 polling stations and add it to the other one, I think it's neither here nor there. Once the system is broken, just fix all of it. I would have wished to see that. But even if you did that, the MPP will still come for that election. So let's save some money for the state. I don't want to be saying that this polling station, the issue is that our electoral system has always been hijacked at one point in the process, where some collation is distorted somewhere in the polling station, and then it's now being moved to collation center. In the process of that movement, things happen. And the violence we were seeing in the election is because this mechanism was triggered in many polling stations, and people knowing that it is the weak and the loophole in our electoral processes where people get to superimpose themselves in it, use backdoor channels and influence it. People decided to be vigilant and to rise against the manipulation of the elections. That is why we are having what we have. If the Electoral Commission was competent and was not up to something untoward, it would have had the data. But the data doesn't actually conform with what its paymasters want. And that's why we are here. And let's be very honest, I've never been a fan of this Electoral Commission. And I think that because it has been an embarrassment of an Electoral Commission right from day one. And I'm happy the MPP that protected it all these years are now getting to feel a pinch of what the NDC has been enduring all these years. Having said that, the MPP has one thing to do. They should forget of elections and actually re-engineer themselves. The problem is not party leadership. The problem is not who is leading them. The problem is the pain they took Ghanaians through over 8 years. The misgovernance. You are sitting here, you haven't mentioned one of them. From the economy, letting our city go on a free ride from 4 to 17. The Ukraine war is still ongoing, but President Mahama has been able to bring down fuel prices. You still sit here in opposition and you cite it. That is still ongoing. We faced it, still the war is hitting, but we have done something about it. The Ukraine war is still ongoing. Debt restructuring is there. You created a huge baggage that, to the extent that we have to be using almost 4% of our GDP in 2024 terms to be servicing debts. The arrears and all those things you left behind. In the midst of that, we are still growing, and we've brought down the depreciation. We'll be able to improve it, strengthen the city in the midst of all those things. If you look at the economy, all the fundamentals are pointing in the right direction, even in the midst of the Ukraine war. So that is what you need to face Ghanaians and tell them that when the Ukraine war prevented you from doing anything and President Mahama is doing it, why do you think that anybody will consider you as an alternative? Look at the corruption. Look at the corruption.
You're not doing project.
Look at the unemployment and the pain. You need to address those things. Just say that we are sorry. You know, one thing that helped the NDC was President Rawlings, may his soul rest in peace. He broke away with the NDC, took them to the gutters, and the party largely, even though did not publicly agree to those things, but took steps to rebrand itself, to go back to its fundamentals, the probity and accountability, and build its grassroots upwards. Today is a formidable machine that it doesn't matter what the MPP does. It is going to be very difficult for them to match the MPP in any election. Okay. And that is what I want them to look at. Let's agree that we have messed up. One of your most outstanding leaders, that's a former President Kufuor, told you to apologize. That is where you should start from. Mention all, catalog all the things you have done, the misgovernance you have subjected this country to. Apologize for them, and then now start seeing how you can rebrand your party.
An MPP consultant now.
No, I want to do it for you. I want to do it for you. So I'm wrapping up by saying that you need to do those things. And then you can talk of election. 2028, If I am in the MPP, I won't think about it. I want to do things right. If you do the right things, you may stand a chance of presenting a candidate that may maybe get you some of your parliamentary seats back, and then you can think of 2032. 2032, you are going to face an NDC incumbent. I'm very certain about that. And if you don't do your work very well, even 2032, you may face another crashing defeat. 2028 is just a long shot for you, given the chaos and disorganization that is going on in the party. Face it and fix your problems.
All right.
If the NDC can follow a certain trajectory of building this nation.
Yeah. That's why your party is struggling.
Let me. When you were talking, I was quiet. If the NDC can follow a certain trajectory and build this nation, next 8 years, it's going to be very difficult.
Next 8 years?
If they come back,
for the NDP.
If they come back 2028 and people see that they have done a good job, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Let me ask the question. I don't think you were alive then. I'm not sure whether either of you...
I wasn't.
I'm not sure whether either of you were alive. If it so happened that President Nkrumah wasn't overthrown, where do you think Ghana would have been?
Beautiful.
Aha.
Beautiful Ghana.
And that is the point I'm making. That is why they shouldn't be doing what they are doing at this material moment. It is not the big things that are important. It's the little steps you take that create the big things. But if those little steps, you are not taking it at this point, where you just come out of a devastating election and you are not building those small steps to get to the big one, it's going to be difficult. And looking at President Mahama, he is bent on leaving a legacy. And I'll bet you, any of his appointees, including myself, who has appointed me to GMPC, if you mess up, you're out.
Oh, you have an appointment now?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you didn't know. The CEO of ambulance has been sacked.
If you mess up, you are out. I believe President Mahama put me in GMPC because of my energy background. I believe that. It's so clear to me when I went in there. It is clear. The technical bit that I bring is very, very clear to me. And for me, I'm building a nation, Ghana. That's where my interest is. But if you then leave it, NDC come 2028, they do another good job, whoever takes over. And anybody who takes over, hopefully would want to follow what President Mahama has been able to do. It's going to be difficult to defeat them. It's going to be very difficult to defeat them. That's why I keep saying, at this material moment, go for one candidate. Look, Doc was talking about some members would not want to come in and help because the person is not there. But in politics, you sleep with odd bedfellows. In politics, you sleep with odd bedfellows. Our fathers did it. Kufuor, my father and others. When President Rawlings came, did they not all, even Aram Ponsa, they were all part and parcel of trying to get this country back to where it was. So for me, they should try their possible best. Try their possible best to create the unity that is required. Because we want a strong opposition. With this, if it so happens that they don't go in there, NDC go, they have 2/3 majority. And I just pray that if the NDC have this 2/3 majority, they use it in such a way that it is beneficial to the country. When you compare when the NDC, MPP had that kind of majority, how they handled it, it put people's backs up. And I hope if they do get the 2/3 majority that they want no, they didn't get to that, but they had a much more...
was smiling, that's why I want to go.
Much more greater number in parliament. So let's see, because I'm sure there are people like Doc here who are in the middle, who sometimes he says he's cool, but these are the voices that can change minds. Not the hey ones. These types of voices can change minds. And I think they should listen to voices like this to get the party back to where. I mean, if you see with President Kufuor, some of the things he would tell you in terms of where he sees this party, come on, if they listen, they'll be heading for a better place.
Okay, let me go to Facebook. Nawumba Matthew says, good morning, KMJ, and my uncle Prof and the colleague panelists. Blekuma North should endorse a party that has Ghanaians at heart, that doesn't endorse corruption, but developmental-oriented party. Rabina is an agent for development. The NPP is not respecting their principles, norms, and traditions. Bauma should go to Blekuma North and do Amano there and stop that dia Tuatua. And this is the future of Ghana. Winnie Matthew from Upper East, Garo sent in that one. And this one is from Sair Idris. It says, good morning to you and your blemished panelists. The NPP is afraid of contesting the Ablekuma elections because they think the NDC will do what they have done in Ayawaso by election. Ghanaians are beginning to get fed up with the NPP. Nana Akua Afriyie says that Nana, it says a glorious birthday to Abigail Amo, aka Abi Baby, a nursing student at Methodist University, Ghana, and says, do you have a blissful day? And he goes on, he says, anyway, I fully support the decision taken by the NPP not to contest this contemptuous election in Ablekuma North. The EC's decision to reround some elected polling stations are born out of bad faith that the commissioners are choosing their jobs over their integrity. It's a shame. And Sefa says, talk about the legality going on with regards to EC's action. We don't need your advice. They should get their 2/3 and do whatever they like, always blaming Akufo-Addo. Did you see Akufo-Addo on the ballot? And it's a Teacher just says that.
Does he not miss the party?
I don't understand why the NPP is wasting its energy on matters concerning the 2024 elections. Please don't burden your mind by going to court again. I wouldn't favor the party. The Electoral Commission thinks she is doing the bidding of Mahama. The exit door is already open for her removal. It would serve her well to learn from the case of Dampare and the military command. Jane Mensah, do whatever you want, but there is no way to retain your position. You are ashamed to Ghana. Greetings to Charlie. You guys should take it easy on the lady. Take it easy. Jake says great submission by Professor this morning, and Silas says if NPP believe NDC is not performing in government, then they should go and contest. And this one is from Moses and Moses. He said, lawyer, is the time to rebuild the CPP because Ghanaians want to see CPP becoming coming back strong. NPP is dying gradually. So maybe the CPP wants to take that opportunity and come back big. Sami says that it's laudable that the Chief Justice has taken the initiative to sue Ghana and ECOWAS, exercising a constitutional right. Interestingly, the second NDC representative expressed opposition to her actions. President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC have a propensity for manipulating public perception in Ghana, capitalizing on the fact that a significant portion of the population, roughly 80%, may lack discerning minds, making them more susceptible to believing false promises. As I've always emphasized, it is crucial to approach NDC claims with a healthy dose of skepticism, recognizing that their actions often involve manipulating the intelligence of Ghanaians. In light of recent developments, including the 17% increase in electricity bills, escalating fuel prices, and cement prices remaining at 150 Ghana cedis, paired with the current government's evasion of LGBTQ issues, the silence of civil society organizations and clergy is striking. The Ghanaian people demand explanations regards to Hajia Safia SOS. Moses Amos says, lawyer, this is the time to rebuild. Okay, I think I've read that. And Sefa says, being in parliament has no bearing on party executives' performance. Your candidate will not lead NPP to any elections. Inusa says that, why is Nana Jantua always Kwame Jantua always want the CJ to resign? I believe lawyer Kwame Jantua is a lawyer who doesn't want the law to work effectively. He has disappointed me this morning. The CJ shouldn't resign. She should go. She should fight for her right. Well, depending on how you see it. Timothy says, good morning. The MPP's reluctance to participate in the re-round election in Ablekuma North speaks volumes. If their candidate refuses to take part, it would be a a tacit admission of defeat. This would pave the way for the NDC parliamentary candidate to be declared the winner, saving time, resources, and costs for all parties involved. It's clear the NPP knew they lost the 2024 election in Ablikuma and attempted to manipulate the outcome. Their fear facing a rerun election exposes their lack of confidence in their candidates' popularity. The people have spoken, and it's time for the NPP to accept the verdict. Timothy sent in that one. So that's some of your messages that you've sent to us this morning, and it's a wrap for this segment. But, Doc, how's Brian's camp? Everything good?
Well, we are doing well, and we largely are waiting for party to...
Doing well means...
allow us to
the people are accepting them.
You know, to start campaigning. In fact, we haven't, you know, started heavily because of the rules of engagement. So we're patiently waiting for that. And we're hoping to be present on the 19th when the party has its Congress. And hopefully out of that, we'll know the clear, you know, in terms of clarity, in terms of path to January 31. So we're excited. I mean, he's the youngest of the candidates, and I think he stands a chance to resonate with the youth, and he comes with fresh appeal. And, you know, the party's character ought to change, admittedly, and that is why we think that he stands tall in terms of bringing both sides who are duking it out together and to help us chart the new course for the party. We certainly admit we need a new course, and I think with him we can do that.
All right. Very well. We're wishing you the very best, and we're going to follow it and also ensure that we let the people know what he's up to every time. Let me say a big thank you to Twist Collections for my sneakers this morning, and you can find him in Kumasi. I know where Doc is going. He's doing blue like...
Jantro is rocking his sneakers.
Oh, is it? I came in the widest today.
I'm rocking it. So
are you putting all of us on a sneaker path now?
That's not a problem. I should get all your sizes.
No, I mean, no, I'm just saying. But let me admit that I want to almost combine suit with sneakers. And some may think it's out of fun, but it is. So along the line, when you see me in a sneaker, suit,
I like to see people,
you know,
wear that
know that it's.
But these shoes you got now, they're sneakers.
Yeah,
they're sneakers.
Loafers of some sort. Loafers.
They are loafers more than sneakers. They are full shoes.